I'll give you these, and I'm going to get rid of them.
Raleigh.
Thank you. We want to welcome you all to what I've called the Facade, Sidewalk, Window, and Signage Improvement Project here at the Robert Jackson Center. Betty just told me she doesn't want to talk. I thought I'd talk to you. And so we're very happy to have you here, and we've invited people who've helped us finance this, those who've helped us build it, and I'm going to sort of walk you through what was involved here. And first of all, I'd like Greg Peterson, the president of the Robert Jackson Center, to say a few words. Greg?
This is one of many wonderful events that we've had here at the Robert Jackson Center. One would never realize from a start in December of 2000 when Betty Linnae and Carl Kappa and a couple of others got together to talk about a concept, that here we'd be in May of 2003 looking at the Robert Jackson Center and on the eve of hosting the Chief Justice of the United States. Many of you, in fact all of you here, have had some part in this, and on behalf of the Jackson Center and the Board of Directors, I can't thank you all enough. This has been a fun run, a fast run, and we hope a continuing run that will just prove Jamestown very proud. We look forward to all the events that are forthcoming. However, I know this is really an event which is going to spotlight a few folks, and I know the narrator through the entire event will be Raleigh Kidder. We often don't stop to spend time to thank Raleigh. A little bit of history. As we got our initial board meeting together, one of the first names that popped up to add some value quickly and to add some real credibility to our group was Raleigh Kidder. The timing was propitious to get him on our board. He never said no. He immediately got involved, and as would have it, that when an opportunity arose where we needed an executive director, Raleigh was the logical candidate. Thank God for us that he was willing to join us. He's not stopped in enhancing the value of the Robert Jackson Center in many, many ways, including what you're going to see here today. I can tell you from the outside, Raleigh, this has been his dream, given his background in military affairs and being one of 11 members of the National Battle Monument Commission. Anyways, a hotshot. With some very high-powered people. We were blessed from Jamestown to have somebody like him on that commission, responsible for the thought process and the fundraising for the World War II. So you knew when the time came, Betty, that we wanted to really make something special here outside the Robert Jackson Center when it came to signage, the appropriate walkway, the appropriate entryway to the Robert Jackson Center. There was only one guy to start the project and to see it to a logical conclusion. That was Raleigh. So I can't thank Raleigh enough for all that he's meant to the Jackson Center, and certainly all of you meant to this project. And we don't often stop enough to say thank you. So let me do that, and as a prelude to thanking all of you, and especially Betty, as we look forward to the rest of the program. So thank you, and we hope you all have a chance to come here at 11 o'clock next Friday. We got a special guest. So thanks again.
Betty's got to go home over here. If you look on the back page of this report, you'll see some people we wanted to thank. Betty and the Linnae Foundation, the Sheldon Foundation, Hultquist, Gabby, the Dara Fund. Is anybody from Hultquist here? Charlie was here earlier, and I think he left. Okay, just didn't want to miss him. Our Jackson Center board and some of our members are here. Frank and Rich Farrell. Frank isn't here. Rich is going to represent him today. But I want to tell you a terrific thing that happened. We knew we needed a lot of new windows, and we knew we couldn't afford them all. And Frank said, well, we'll make all the windows because it's cheaper for us to do it, and then you get them when you have the money. So we've gotten some money in, and we put it into this side of the house and the other side of the old mansion, and we got more to go. I didn't want you to think you're off the hook on windows yet, okay? But However, we couldn't have gotten it. I think it was the right thing to do, and we certainly thank Hope's Windows and Frank Farrell. Mike Latone, DNS Glass guys who installed these windows. David Poulin couldn't be here today. He's a sculptor here in town and designed a model for the flagpole base out of cardboard, which we used all the way through in terms of sizing the flagpole. Bob Knobloch and Mike, I don't know if Mike's here or not, from Jamestown Bronze. Bob's taking pictures, and we're going to have him involved here a little bit. Did a wonderful job on our bronze signs, and you'll see one out here, for example, that was all done at Jamestown Bronze. The patinaed green back, the polished, poured individual letters that are using the same font as we have in our stationery called the Silhouette font, and they just did tremendous work. I think a lot of people don't realize the kind of artisans we have here. Matthews International, these were poured in Pittsburgh. Don Bloomquist and Bloomquist Landscaping. When you walk that walkway, when you see this grass we put in, when you see all that kind of thing, that's Don Jr. And we appreciate that. Plus, he gave us the final touch when I came to work this morning. There weren't any tulips in front of that sign, so it shows you the last details here. Bob Arnone and Rod Drake at Habitera, we thank them. I don't think Tony Jackson's here from Toronto. He was involved. Where's Tony? Tony, you made it. I didn't know they let you guys across the border anymore. Nice to have you here. Tony did a visual graphic of the front of this house, the way it could look. I had thought of one sidewalk to 4th Street. He put the idea in of having a joining, a meeting of sidewalks, and it really came out very well. Jim McIntyre and Don Emhart, Alstrom Schaefer, we're going to have a lighted house and a lighted flag so we don't have to take the flag down at night. You'll see it when you get out there. Mayor Sam Teresi and Jeff Lehman from the city, we worked well with the city. These new larger entrance ramps were done by the city last year when the street was being done, and we're sharing the cost with them on the turf that went out there this year, and we certainly appreciate everything that the city, Sam, did here in this project. Annette Leith isn't here, but she's a graphic designer that does our website, and she actually designed the sign. And then Don Bloomquist Sr. at Code, who's our sort of clerk of the works around here and master of all trades, and I wanted to thank him. And then before I forget it, when we're done outside here today, if you want to come on in and see the Stanley and Sarita Weeks room, I would invite you to come to this room right over here. We had an event here last week and dedicated that room. And I called Stanley and Sarita in the winter down in Florida, and I said, keep March 7th on your calendars. And I forgot to call them back and tell them we changed it to March 8th. So they came yesterday. But anyway, I want to thank Stanley and Sarita who are here, and it's time to get on with this. I'd like to have Rich Farrell come over and stand in front of that Hope's window right there. And Miles Lasser from the Sheldon Foundation. Miles, would you go over there? And Chip Ulrich, where's Chip? I want you over here. What do you say we give a little hand for these guys that helped with these windows? Okay. Now if you come out to the front of the sign, and I'm going to ask Bob Knobloch, Bob Arnone, get in here. I'm going to get in a later one, so you guys squeeze in here. Here, Nobby, you get out there with them. You did all this.
Yeah, because you got to fix it.
Get over in this side. Okay, I hope this works. I think that, let me just say a word about what we have here. We could be probably criticized for spending money on bronze and on stone, but I learned in Washington when you do good memorial art, you do what the Greeks and Romans did. This is going to last forever. And as the natural aging process continues, this green will turn a natural green, and the letters will stand out still because they've been varnished. And I have to hand it off to Don Bloomquist, who found a quarry in Binghamton. We tried a quarry in Indiana. It wasn't right. We finally found the right quarry, and we want to thank you guys for that are all involved in this. Thank you very much. Now let's move down the sidewalk. Okay, I think I've covered my bases. Hopefully. The base of this bronze flagpole, as I mentioned, the background to it, and a lot of credit goes to Jamestown Bronze Company and the work they've done. And after we're done with this, Betty is, we're going to march into Color Guard, and Betty Lene Fairbank will raise the first American flag on the Robert Jackson Center. Let me just say a note about this flag. We have one in the center it's been flown over the Capitol of the United States. But a woman came in, and I don't know if she's here today, Diane Sewell, I invited her, she had to work, I think. Walked in this center about a week ago, and she said, "You don't know me, I've been watching things over there, and I just had to buy this flag. It was going to be thrown away over at the Salvation Army or whatever, and I gave them $2, and what do you think?" I said, "I think we should fly a Jamestown flag for the first flag, the Robert Jackson Center. It needs some new grommets. It doesn't quite fit totally right, but it's the right flag for today." So that's the flag we're going to raise here. This flagpole base has Robert Jackson's, the dates of his life, the epitaph written by his son Bill. It's in the Frewsburg Cemetery. On this side, it has all the things he did in his lifetime, or the major things, in Washington: Solicitor General, Attorney General, Chief Justice, Chief Prosecutor in Nuremberg, and then it ends with country lawyer. And then on one side of this is a civil liberties quote. Jackson believes strongly that the individual had greater rights than the government, and in terms of when there was a conflict. In this case, the Barnett case in 1943, in the middle of World War II, a Jehovah's Witness wouldn't salute the flag. There was a law in West Virginia, if you didn't, you're going to be thrown in jail. He got thrown in jail. He brought his case to the Supreme Court, mind you, in the middle of World War II, and Jackson writes the opinion, "I wish you would salute the flag, but this is America, you don't have to." And the quote that is, "Your one's fundamental rights are not subject to a vote, they depend on the outcome of no elections." That's one of the quotes. And then the other quote on this side, I think it is from Nuremberg. Actually, before he went to Nuremberg, an article in the New York Times at the Nazi war trials, and it says that, in essence, I may miss it a little bit here, but if we can root out of men's thinking the ideas that all wars are legal, at last we will have immobilized the forces of law in the sight of peace. So when you walk up here, you'll get a sense of Jackson, I think, through this bronze base of this flagpole. So Sam and Nabi and Betty, help me pull this off here. Here we go. Just come around by. Again, let's hear it for the artisans and people that helped pay for this. Commander, present the colors. Ward. Ward Spoon's helping us, 101st Airborne. like you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to have the firing squad. And following that, Ashley Orm is going to sing a couple verses from America the Beautiful. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reset. Order arms. One arm sleeve. Left. Ready. Arm. Aim. Fire. Fire.
Ashley?
Order, her.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrims feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare of freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, confirm our soul in thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood in law and liberty.
Prepare your troops, Commander.
Hold on.
We want to thank the VFW for being here today, too. Well, that's it, everybody. We have a new signature entrance to the Robert Jackson Center. I think it's going to last a lot of years and be a nice thing for the city as well as for us. So we hope to see you all here with Chief Justice Rehnquist in another week or so. By the way, lights. Look, notice the lights.
Good job, big guy. We expect nothing less.
Betty.
We're told, take it off your neck, Greg.
How about it, Richie? Should we get one here too? Come on over here. Betty, get in here.
Right here. You want to see Jackson here? What if we show Jackson right there?
By the way, I put in a shirt underneath here. Notice that you can this tree and not put one on the corner. So
Yay!
anybody else want a picture? Come on over. Go get back in the white.
You want to get the picture with me?
Ready? All right. Watch out, Don. I got a picture of Betty and Joe. I'm gonna get on the other side. That's right. That's right. Wait, want a picture? Yeah. All right, let's get the VFW guys in here. Which way do you want it? Any way you want it. Just half of you on one side and half on the other. Don't sit on it. Don't block the track. Jackson,